This is Home Inspector M.D. In our tool bag today, we are discussing electrical testers and their use in home inspections. As an essential part of a home inspector's standard of practice, we sample as many receptacles in a house as possible. Why, you may ask? Because we want to provide the ability to notify new homeowners of any potential electrical safety issues in the home. These devices can tell you of certain wiring conditions that may lead to simply not having power or real safety hazards. For example, an open hot, ground, or neutral, and reverse polarity conditions. Here we have the Klein Tools RT250 tester and other electrical testers, with the Klein Tools as my go-to tester. All basic electrical testers do have some limitations in what they can reveal. For example, we don't know the quality of the ground, if there are multiple hot wires, or if there is a combination of defects. More than one defect will not be shown on the tester. They also don't detect a fake ground. That's when someone intentionally puts a jumper wire connecting the neutral wire to the green ground screw of a three-prong outlet, something typical of older homes with no ground. The problem is you have no real ground to protect you, and the tester will not know. For my own personal use, there are several reasons why I like using this tester. 2 LEDs instead of 3. The 3 LED tester format has been the standard for a while now, and it requires the user to look at the pattern of 3 LEDs and match it with the list of possible issues on the device. This has always been a clunky way to show wiring problems, especially if you can't see the list when it's plugged in. In its place, we do have a simple setup of green and red LED lights showing the words correct or the actual fault. This makes it much quicker to see the problem. There is no table to look up, but instead it will tell you the problem, such as open hot or hot neutral reverse. If you're testing many receptacles in a house, it's just so much faster to get the job done. The device has an auto hold feature, which is really useful to have. If you have a receptacle with the ground on top, then the display cannot be seen. But once you remove the tester, it will automatically be in a hold position for 10 seconds. That should allow you to see the information on the display. The device is self-powered, so it will tell you an open hot condition while others simply do not turn on. It also includes one additional condition that many others do not: dual open, neutral, and ground condition. Voltage drop. You also get the voltage reading of the receptacle. Not all electrical testers have this feature. I like to quickly check the voltage even though it is not a standard of practice for inspections. So why does this matter? Well, here in Canada, the standard is 120 volts, but most of the times you would not see 120 volts. It may be lower or higher. Generally, it is acceptable to have a 5% range, so 114 volts to 126 volts is fine. Now, what if you have an exceedingly low voltage problem? Well, you can have flickering lights, electronic equipment failure, appliance performance may be affected by overheating or damage, problems with motors running hotter than normal, or even smaller motors not starting at all. So what can cause such a dramatic voltage drop? It could come from a variety of sources: loose connections in power lines, distance from your power source much farther away may result in lower voltages, overloading, and times of high demand such as air conditioners running during a hot summer day, old wiring, corrosion, or maybe an imbalance in the load. Electrical testers can also test for ground faults. GFCI receptacles and breakers will trip at an average difference of about 6 milliamps. This tester creates a 6 to 9 milliamp ground fault to trip the GFCI device. It is generally acknowledged that testing for ground fault operation is best done from the actual GFCI receptacle test button. Where the electrical tester does come in handy is testing a regular 3-prong receptacle for GFCI protection from another GFCI receptacle. This situation can be found in bathrooms and kitchens, where electricians will often daisy chain one GFCI receptacle to multiple regular receptacles. This Klein Tools tester will also provide you with information on how fast the ground fault test was. If the timing is too slow, then that could present a problem and an indicator that the device is failing. So what is acceptable? Well, here's a typical time current graph for a Class A GFCI. If we look at 6 milliamps, they should be tripping at less than a tenth of a second. When we do our test for this GFCI, we have a time of a tenth of a second, well below the area of harm. GFCIs protect people from electrical shock, but there is always a very short time before it shuts off. Finally, the biggest negative to this particular device compared to these other testers is that it always needs batteries. This means replacing batteries and constantly turning it on and off instead of just plugging it in like the rest. From inside our tool bag, that is a quick look at electrical receptacle testers. Good day from Home Inspector M.D.